The Middle East is on fire again. In a stunning escalation, Israel has just launched one of the most audacious airstrikes in modern history, targeting Iran's nuclear facilities and top military brass. The world is holding its breath. Iran is wounded but far from defeated. Now the question on everyone's mind is, what can Iran do next? In this deep dive, we'll unravel Iran's potential responses. From retaliation and regional proxy wars to diplomacy, cyber warfare, and economic resilience. This isn't just about two countries, it's about a global powder keg that's closer than ever to blowing. Welcome to Talk Maniac. Let's break it all down. On June 13, 2025, Israel shocked the world with a wave of precision airstrikes that hit deep inside Iranian territory. The target? Iran's nuclear program, including the highly fortified Natanz enrichment site, and a chilling list of military leaders, scientists, and infrastructure. Natanz was left smoking. Top commanders like Mohammad Bagheri and IRGC chief Hossein Salami were killed. Even nuclear scientists like Faridun Abbasi and Mohammad Tehranchi were assassinated. Tehran is in chaos. Smoke fills the skyline. Gas lines stretch for blocks. But the Iranian government has already promised a harsh and painful retaliation. Before we look at what Iran can do, let's understand its toolbox. Iran's military is no match for Israel in direct conventional warfare, let alone if the United States gets involved. But Iran's strength lies in asymmetric warfare. Think of it as death by 1,000 cuts. Missiles. Iran has over 3,000 short and medium-range ballistic missiles. Many are housed in underground silos, mobile launchers, and even camouflaged civilian zones. The Shahab 3 and Sejil 2 can reach Tel Aviv. Drones. Iran's drone fleet has grown in both size and sophistication. They've already launched over 100 drones in retaliation, though most were intercepted. Still, swarm tactics remain a looming threat. Cyber warfare. Iran's cyber units are among the most capable in the region. Israeli infrastructure, energy, water, transportation, is vulnerable to sustained digital attacks, naval asymmetry. The Strait of Hormuz is Iran's backyard. It could disrupt global oil flow by attacking tankers using speedboats, sea mines, or anti-ship missiles. But here's the thing, all-out war would likely destroy Iran. So what are the more strategic options? Iran's greatest military strength isn't within its borders. It's the web of proxy forces it has nurtured for decades. Hezbollah in Lebanon. With an arsenal of over 150,000 rockets, Hezbollah could open a second front against Israel from the north. The question is, can Iran persuade them to act now? Houthis in Yemen, already engaged with Israel during the Gaza war, the Houthis could strike Israeli targets via drones or threaten Red Sea shipping lanes again. Hasht al-Shabi in Iraq, Syrian militias, and Shia groups in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia could all be activated. Proxy war is plausible, deniable, and effective, but it could also drag multiple countries into a regional inferno. Iran's leadership faces massive pressure to retaliate directly. But how? Let's examine the likely options. First, there's the possibility of a missile attack on Israeli bases. Tehran could strike military bases in the Negev or near Jerusalem. But, missile interception systems like Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow really reduce its effectiveness, unless the volume just overwhelms them. Then there's the option of a high-profile assassination. Iran might attempt to assassinate an Israeli general, diplomat, or nuclear scientist. The challenge here is execution without direct attribution. Another route could be a cyber blackout. A massive, paralyzing cyber attack, blacking out parts of Tel Aviv or shutting down the water supply, would definitely send a strong signal. But each of these comes with high risks. Israel is likely to respond with even more ferocity. So, is there a way to de-escalate? Despite the bloodshed, diplomacy isn't dead. Back-channel talks are still possible. Through Qatar, Oman, or even China, Iran may try to initiate secret talks to prevent further escalation. There's also pressure on the United States. With American troops in bases across the Middle East, Iran could target them indirectly, to force Washington to rein in Israel. And of course, there's the UN and the IAEA. Iran can leverage the narrative that Israel broke international law by attacking nuclear facilities. International condemnation might isolate Israel diplomatically, but here's the problem. Iran's credibility on nuclear transparency is weak. the world sees this as a shadow war turned hot, not as a clear-cut case of victimhood. While missiles fly, there's another war raging, the economic war. Oil prices have already jumped 9%. If Iran disrupts the Strait of Hormuz, the price could skyrocket. That hurts global economies, and gives Iran leverage. China and India, major buyers of Iranian oil, are watching closely. If Iran plays its cards right, it could deepen its economic ties with Asia while squeezing Western energy markets. And let's not forget, sanctions on Iran are already extreme, but if Tehran can weaponize energy, it can force reluctant players like Europe to push for de-escalation. Domestically, Iran is at a crossroads. Public anger is high, national pride has been wounded, crowds chant for revenge, but, some voices call for restraint. After all, it's ordinary Iranians who will pay the price in a full-scale war. The government may lean into nationalism to unify a fragmented population, but economic pain, inflation, and rising discontent could erupt into protests if the conflict drags on. Balancing internal pressure with external strategy, this is Iran's tightrope. Let's talk about the nightmare scenario, escalation beyond Iran and Israel. If Hezbollah joins the fight, Israel might invade Lebanon. If American bases are hit, the United States could retaliate, dragging NATO into the conflict. Saudi Arabia and the UAE, longtime Iran rivals, may be pulled in. Russia and China, while urging calm, may use the chaos to shift global attention away from Ukraine or Taiwan. A spark in the Middle East has historically ignited much larger fires. Think 1914, think 2003, could 2025 be next? So what's the most probable path? Here's a likely short-term strategy Iran may follow: limited but symbolic retaliation, to save face and show strength. Proxy attacks via Hezbollah or Houthis, keeping deniability. Cyber and economic disruptions, to punish Israel and the West without direct confrontation. Diplomatic channels, to prevent full-scale war while playing the long game. Iran knows time is on its side. A rash war may lead to collapse. A smart, slow grind could outmaneuver its enemies. Iran's next moves could shape the Middle East for decades. Will it retaliate, restrain, or redefine its power in the region? Whatever happens, the stakes couldn't be higher. Not just for Iran and Israel, but for the entire world. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell, because this story is far from over, and we'll be here breaking it down for you. This is Talk Maniac. Stay curious, stay informed.